school corporation business, and it's not considered a public community meeting. There will be time for public participation as indicated on the agenda. The meeting site is fully accessible, and any person requiring further accommodation, please contact the superintendent. We do have the public comment forms, which are over here by Mr. Elwood. If anyone would like to address the board at the appropriate time, you can fill out one of those forms, return it to the board table, and we will do that toward the end of the meeting. So first thing we have on our agenda is our bid opening for the paving project. Dr. Alanez?
Okay, so all of the bids were submitted to Attorney Elwood's office, and he has all of those.
So we had a bid submission meeting at 4 o'clock today, so that was the deadline to be delivered to my office by policy. We have 3 bids that were submitted all prior to 4 p.m., so if I could open them. We have Mark LeBlanc from Alliance, who will do the bid tabulation, and then I'll advise you to take them under advisement. We have multiple, what do you call them? Alternates, thank you. We're simply going to read the base project, base bid. I'm sorry, the first bidder is Reith Riley. Base bid of $1,711,809. $1,711,809. Next is Walsh and Kelly. Walsh and Kelly base bid $1,522,291. $291. Again, that was Walsh and Kelly. Site Services, Inc. $1,990,489. $1,990,489. I would recommend that we take these under advisement so that Mark and I can review them, and we'll have a recommendation at our next meeting.
Do you have a motion to accept these bids under advisement?
I'll make that motion.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Do you have any comments? So you'll take these, what's the timeline? You'll evaluate, obviously you said there's a lot of alternates in here as well, so these base bids may not.
Yes, so the timeline is to issue a notice to proceed March 15th is what we've indicated to the bidders. And so we would come either before the first February board meeting or the last February board
Okay.
meeting. I think that we can probably do that.
Okay, very good. Anybody else have any comments or questions? Now, would you call the roll, please?
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Clancy, yes. Trustee Maleta?
Yes.
Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
Trustee Finley?
Yes.
Thank you. Next, we have our student and staff presentation, our good news report. Mrs. Devers-Lowy.
Today's report is going to be in person by Mrs. Devers-Lowy, and she has little nice swag things for you here too.
Okay, good evening. Like Dr. Allen has said, some extenuating circumstances this evening, so you guys get me for the good news report. Our 5th grade students visited Portage High School to listen to performances by the band, choir, and orchestra. The 5th grade recruitment concert allows students to decide if they would like to sign up for one of these classes their 6th grade year. I would encourage you to take a look at our Facebook page for the videos. They're really awesome. Ms. Hostetter's class recently used virtual reality goggles to take a trip to the moon. They looked inside the Apollo spacecraft and explored the surface of the moon as well. Our Principles of Biomedical Science class at Portage High School recently hosted a mock job fair. Students researched careers in the biomedical field and created displays to share their new information with their fellow students. The Willow Creek Middle School wrestling team had an outstanding 2019 season. First place finishes at the Fakeley Invite, Pierce Super Duels, Taft Invite, and Porter Lake County Conference Tournament, as well as the team dual meet, contributed to the team's 16-1 overall record. The team also boasts 6 individual conference champions. 7 of our Portage High School students earned awards at the 2020 Scholastic Art Show in South Bend. 5 students earned awards with 2 gold keys, 3 silver keys, and 1 honorable mention. And those 2 gold key winners will move on to state judging and then be eligible for the national competition as well. Students in Ms. Bleck's 3rd grade class at Myers culminated their unit about the layers of the earth with a tasty project. The students used pudding, whipped cream, and graham cracker crumbs to represent each different layer of the earth in the correct order. Over the holiday break, the Portage High School Student Athlete Advisory Committee members visited Miller's Mary Manor. The students took Christmas cookies and snacks to give to the residents while they spent some extra time with them during the holidays. Miss Kubik's 3rd grade class at Sailor raised money to help a koala who was injured in the fires in Australia. The class's adoption fee helps with the treatment of their koala's injuries. Mrs. Becker's 5th grade class at Central Elementary did a STEM project that was out of this world. Our innovative learning coach, Mr. Dietrich, helped students create soda straw rockets, where they followed a set of directions to create a rocket that they launched with a straw and measured how far the rocket flew. Robotics teams from Sailor Elementary, Aylesworth Elementary, and Fakeley Middle School have all qualified for the state competition in the past 2 weeks. They will join teams from the high school at Lucas Oil Stadium in March for the VEX state competition. Students in the Advanced Jewelry 2 class at Portage High School have created beautiful wire hand rings. Students used various gauges of wire, beads, and weaving techniques to create these works of art that are currently on display in the Portage High School Commons. Our Aylesworth Elementary students enjoyed bingo for books with our Title I team. The students played several rounds of bingo and earned free books donated by the family of former Aylesworth teacher Ruth Lute. Congratulations to Willow Creek Middle School 8th grader Jacqueline Wozniak, who was invited to introduce Congressman Pete Visklosky at his recent Portage Town Hall meeting. Many of our staff members participated in valuable professional development during last Monday's e-learning day. Our IT staff received training on the forklift, while classroom assistants attended QPR training, learned about restorative groups and circles, and listened to the Emily Talk, a presentation about the best ways to work with children with special needs. Congratulations to Portage High School senior Ethan Fregoso on being named a finalist in the Drive Safe Chicago PSA contest. Ethan is a student in the Video Production and Media Studies vocational and created a PSA that addresses the dangers of drunk driving. Special Agents Jeff Price and Charlie Mathewson from the Railroad Police spoke to the health classes at Fakeley Middle School about railroad safety. Students learned some facts about trains and what they can do to keep themselves safe. Ms. Allison from the Porter County Recycling Waste Reduction District visited Kyle Elementary to speak with our 3rd graders about reducing, reusing, and recycling. She even showed them how to reuse items that cannot be recycled. The staff at Fakeley Middle School participated in an SEL activity that promoted movement, regulation, collaboration, and a positive mindset. The staff was put into groups and given 15 minutes to complete a photo scavenger hunt. Teachers then learned how they can incorporate a similar activity into their classrooms to promote the SEL competencies. As for our upcoming events, we have the PHS cheer team hosting a clinic on February 13th for children ages 5 through 12. Everyone who participates will receive a t-shirt and have the opportunity to cheer at halftime of the February 14th boys basketball game. The dates for the 2020 PTS Mobile Marketplace have been set for March 12th, May 14th, July 9th, September 10th, and November 12th. All marketplaces will take place at 4 p.m. at Portage High School Door A, and of course everyone in the community is welcome. The Portage High School Interact Club is selling Valentine's Day chocolate-covered pretzels during all lunch hours. All proceeds will be donated to Gabriel's Horn. Sales will continue through February 28th. And of course, this Saturday is our Outstanding Young Man competition. Come see our seniors compete for scholarships at 7:30 in the West Auditorium. And that is all for the good news report. I do have a little bit of swag for you this evening. We had some stickers printed up that feature our new logo that we'll be handing out to members of the community, students, staff members, as we go around the district and cover all the cool events.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Just, it still always amazes me to hear that report. There's so much going on.
Yes,
So much
there-
good.
Yes,
Like,
lots of good things happening.
So, it's such an active, school community.
Yes.
And, congratulations, and it's, pretty outstanding with these, there's so many opportunities for the kids. Okay, we'll move on to our agenda adjustments. Are there any adjustments to the agenda by the board? Okay, I do believe we have a,
Yes, I have one item I need the board's approval on. Member Troy Williams has filed a conflict of interest disclosure statement, Indiana Code 35-44.1-1-4. He is disclosing that his wife receives a stipend for Outstanding Young Man Scholarship Program and Distinguished Young Woman Scholarship Program. And he wishes to disclose that, and so he's doing that. I have that form that would need to get approved by vote, and then I would send that to the State Board of Accounts as required. And these are both positions she's held before.
Yeah, I
she
mean, we
became a
were,
board member.
had these positions prior to being married, but obviously, since, you know,
Gotcha.
do we have a motion to approve the, conflict of interest?
I will make a motion to approve the conflict of interest for noted person on the personnel report.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Finley?
Yes.
Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
Trustee Maleta?
Yes.
Trustee Clancy, yes. Trustee Williams?
you have to abstain.
Correct.
Okay, so next we'll move on to our superintendent consent agenda. We have the personnel policy 3120, the donation report. Should we break these out
Yes,
singularly?
so,
Yes.
well, what we want to do is a motion to remove his wife's approval on the claims, and then for the facility use request from the facility use. And then vote on all others.
Gotcha.
He can vote on those, and then he will abstain from the second vote, which is on those two items only.
Gotcha.
So if somebody could make a motion to withdraw those two items, or excuse me.
I'll make that
remove.
motion to withdraw those two items as stated by Attorney Elwood.
And I'll second.
So this would be a motion to approve the consent agenda with those two items removed.
Yes.
You can vote for this.
Thanks. Any discussion about that? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
Trustee Maleta?
Yes.
Trustee Clancy, yes. Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Finley?
Yes.
Now we need a motion for those two items.
So now we need a motion for the personnel report as well as a facility use report.
I will make a motion to approve the personnel report and the facility use request report.
It's actually the two items that were removed. We've already
Oh,
approved those.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
So,
Oh, you're right. My mistake, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Motion to approve the donation report and the claims report. What else am I, in the strategic plan, it's just.
no, I'm sorry. So all four were already approved.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
But before that, we made a motion to remove two items, which have to deal with Troy's wife.
okay.
So now we'd be voting on a motion to approve those two stipends.
Okay.
Just the two
I'm
stipends.
sorry, the one stipend and the school use, facility use.
Facility
one.
use report.
Yes.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the stipend as stated on the personnel report and the facility used request form as stated with Mrs. Williams' request.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll second.
We have motion second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Finley?
Yes.
Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
Trustee Maleta?
Yes.
Trustee Clancy, yes.
Trustee Williams
Okay, Trustee
abstains.
Abstains.
We'll get better at this.
All right. That's enough of that, Troy. We'll get it now.
We got it.
Okay, next we move on to our board consent agenda, meeting minutes. Let's do them all. Meeting minutes of the regular board meeting of December 8th, minutes of the public work session of December 9th, minutes of the reorganization discussion meeting, and that's it.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting December 9th, minutes of the public work session, also December 9th, 2019, and the minutes of the reorganization and discussion meeting.
I'll second.
A motion second, any discussion? Call a roll, please.
Trustee Maleta?
Yes.
Trustee Clancy, yes. Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Finley?
Yes.
Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
All right, next we move on to our board development, committee reports. Trustee Maleta, Park Department, Buildings and Ground Innovation and Finance. Nothing really to report from Park Department that's relevant, and we have not had a Building Ground Innovation or Finance meeting as of yet. Trustee Vasquez, anything from the Portage Township Education Foundation or Food Pantry or
Aye.
policy?
Everything. From the Portage Township Education Foundation, the board will be meeting with our superintendent for her approval before a major saver contract is signed for next year, since it was a success. The 50/50 tickets are also available at any time. The grant cycle, we're very excited about that, is now open. So the application and the guidelines are available to all staff. So we want to remind everyone, all employees, to please take advantage of that grant opportunity. The next fundraiser will be Brewfest. That has been scheduled for Thursday, April the 30th. And it will be held at Woodland Park. The members are meeting to work out the additional details, and we hope that this will be a successful fundraiser to generate additional funds for our schools. And the next meeting will be on Tuesday, February the 11th. The food pantry meeting that was scheduled for the 15th had to be rescheduled for this Wednesday, which will be the 29th. And the policy committee meeting will be held on Monday, that's the 10th of February, right after our regular school board meeting. And that's it.
Very good, thank you. Trustee Clancy, Finance or Policy?
I do not have an update at this time. We haven't met yet.
Trustee Finley, RDC and Legislative.
For the RDC, we had our first meeting last Thursday, and basically there are a lot of things that are really impacting the community, mainly the fact that the Coach Express left, the airport transport, the rural excursion now is in talks with the city over the talk of the airport bus lot, so that is a positive, and there was an election of officers and an appointment of staff at that meeting. And some other things took place, but it's more related to the city. And we also had the legislative, nothing legislatively. I know that Amanda, Dr. Allen Ezra has some things that she'd like to share, but I do want to invite everyone, specifically the board, Portage Township School Board. Dr. McCormick will be at River Forest Middle and High School on February the 27th at 6 p.m. And we are meeting at the Round Auditorium at River Forest Middle and High School. We're being invited by their school board there. They're organizing this event. So it's not just open to the school board, but it's open to the community, administrators, teacher, whoever would like to attend. She's close enough for us to go visit. That is our superintendent, state superintendent of instruction for the state of Indiana. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Dr. Allen, did you have legislative things you want to talk about now, or for your
I do
update
not.
later?
Yeah, I do not. I was going to, what we can do is share those over time, just that over time, that as I get those, I'll make sure to pass those along to you guys.
Okay, thank you. And Trustee Williams, Finance and Wellness.
Nothing at this time.
Okay, thank you. Move on to old business. Item 8.01, approval of the new course adoption 5408 Education Professions 1 and 5404 Education Professions 2. This is something we discussed at the last meeting.
Correct.
So do we have a motion for that approval?
Absolutely. I approve the approval of the new course adoption 5408 Education Professions 1 and 5404 Education Professions 2.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? You call the roll, please.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Clancy? Yes. Trustee Maleta?
Yes.
Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
And Trustee Finley?
Yes.
All right, we'll move on to new business now. We've got the 9.01, the overnight field trip by the robotics to Lucas Oil Stadium on March 6th and 7th, 2020.
I'll make a motion to approve the overnight field trip by robotics to Lucas Oil Stadium, March 6th and 7th, 2020.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Finley?
Yes.
Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
Trustee Maleta?
Yes.
Trustee Clancy? Yes. Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Next, we have item 9.02, approval of transfer of appropriation resolution R1-2020.
If I could just
Dwayne.
point out, we don't need to read all the numbers. There's quite a few there, so if we just read the first two paragraphs and then indicate that it's been read in its entirety.
Thank you. Transfer of appropriations resolution, whereas it has been determined that it is now necessary to transfer appropriations within the education fund and operation fund budgets. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of School Trustees of the Portage Township Schools, Porter County, Portage, Indiana, that for the expense of said school corporation, the following sums of money are hereby transferred for the purpose specified herein, subject to the laws governing the same, with an effective date of December 31st, 2019. Let the records show that it's been read in its entirety. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the transfer of appropriations resolution.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, are these like normal transfers happen every year type?
Yeah, Dr. Allen, can you explain what this appropriation is? And
Sure, but I believe Mr. Gahn would do a much more efficient
Is he
job
here?
if you would come up here.
Mr. Ron, if you could come up, please, and explain this.
Told you not to come.
Good evening. So we make these transfers every year. This would be the first year between the education operations funds because it's the first year of these funds. But they're just transfers between accounts that maybe there were extra appropriations in one account in the budget year and there are not enough appropriations in another account, but because there was enough in that fund, we just transfer between those accounts. And the board just needs to approve that after the fact, and it's done every year.
Go ahead. I was just-
Good question. Thank you. We have the motion and a second. Can you call the roll, please?
Trustee Finley?
Yes.
Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
Trustee Maleta?
Yes.
Trustee Clancy? Yes. Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Next, we have item 9.03, discussion and approval of board attorney contract.
As I had shared, this is the contract specific for the board attorney and those fees associated with it, as well as the description of Attorney Elwood and his firm's duties. So this contract, after the board had voted to retain Attorney Elwood and his firm for the board attorney, this is just simply bringing that contract to the board for your review and approval, please.
We have a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the board attorney contract.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
Trustee Maleta?
Yes.
Trustee Clancy? Yes. Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Finley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
You've done a great job representing this board and advising us, and I'm glad that we can continue on with that.
I appreciate that.
Next, we have item 9.04, date changes to the board calendar.
If you would please, these were the date changes that Mrs. Langren had sent, and I appreciate these adjustments being made. First of all, you'll recall that the April 27th board meeting will change to Tuesday, April 28th, so that we can all be in attendance as our schedules permit for the ACES banquet. And we did not want to miss that opportunity to celebrate with those students and their families as they've accomplished so much to be in that setting. And then the June 22nd board meeting changing to Monday, June 16th due to a conflict in my calendar that I had shared with you. And Mrs. Lindgren has also worked with the team to ensure that those date changes make their way to the website so that our community is aware of those adjustments.
Thank you. Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve the date changes?
I'll make a motion to approve the date changes to the board calendar.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Maleta?
Yes.
Trustee Clancy? Yes. Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Finley?
Yes.
Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
All right, next we'll move on to our superintendent report and updates. Dr. Elenes.
First, I would just like to thank Mrs. Lindgren. As you know, she helps to keep us all informed and communicating and on the same page. And so there were a lot of dates coming your way so that we could get some things scheduled and some things moved around. And her keeping tabs for all of us, I know we all appreciate and we share that amongst each other, but I just wanted to mention.
And we know that's
Thank you.
difficult. Mrs.
Yes.
Lindgren.
Thank you,
Yes,
Cindy.
yes, so, I know we all appreciate her, and I just think it's worth mentioning because, my goodness, she keeps us all straight. I also want to share a few things. I know it was mentioned by Mrs. Devers-Lowy that on January 20th, we did have the restorative justice training. Also, I had asked for Dr. Stevens and Mr. Wilson, they really have leaned into the opportunities in the last year plus to be trainers for QPR, which is question, persuade, and refer. And they've done a lot of trainings with our staff for suicide prevention and being able to really recognize when someone or yourself is in distress. We're going to actually take some of those opportunities and have some training for community members and neighborhood moms and dads and grandparents who are just interested in learning about how you question to determine if someone is in a state of need and how you can best assist them to getting to the help that they need. So that training was very well received by our support staff throughout the entire district on January 20th. And again, not only does that help our students and our employees in those situations, but it also helps their neighbors, their own family members, and just us as a community as a whole. So I want to thank them for that because that was additional training, some intensive training on their part to be able to train in that capacity. As you see, Mrs. Langren did get your business cards updated with the logo, and those look pretty fancy. I also want to mention again those revisions to the calendar that we just approved. I want to commend the finance team just to share with you that through the hard work of Mr. Gran and Miss Maria Bravo to make sure that we are capitalizing on any opportunity to earn interest and just work really hard to manage our finances and be such a healthy district with a AA+ rating. As you know, that's very commendable. So I've got some information that will be coming out in this week's update just of some further specifics that they've done to really capitalize on our interest earned on our accounts. Expanding some partnerships with Porter County Education Services. I have Mr. Lesich and Mr. DePasquale and also our Assistant Director for Technology, Mr. Sheets, who are going to be working. As you know, we've worked in the times past when we are having equipment that it's time to trade in, and that trade-in value is $40 for an iPad. We have partnered with preschools throughout the community as well as the YMCA, Gabriel's Horn, and excuse me for saying it, that was with the netbooks, but this would be more like the iPads. We also want to make sure the technology in our programs at Porter County Education Services with the self-school and our special education students that we have when that equipment comes time to replace, that we're working with them and allowing opportunities that aren't yet in that location for technology. So they will be working with them to get some additional technology opportunities. I know other districts throughout the county are doing the same, so we're kind of all lending our own hand in the ways that we can to just make sure all kids have that equity. Also to just share the, let's see here, pool. So the pool process is again still underway. They are doing various assessments, calling in those different experts. I don't have any, again, specific information for you. I thought it would be about 6 or so weeks, so we should be coming up on some opportunity to have some information for you here soon. I know that we will be meeting about that, and I will make sure to include the Buildings and Grounds Committee and make sure all of you get that information as well. The auditorium, I had an opportunity today to learn that the electrician contractors are in there, and the lighting that needs to be hung will take approximately 2 weeks. Once they get those first rows that are impacting the stage area, that will take about a week's time, and then once they get further out, then we'll start to bring in those folks for the curtains to be hung, and then that final phase of the floor will be that last part. So we are getting close, and of course, just like all of you, can't wait to get that space open.
Will it be done in time for the spring musical? Do we know?
we are going to continue to do our best to stay on this timeline. It is my hope, but it was also my hope to be open before December. So, you know, that, it's really tricky. We also have some opportunities coming up in our music department that we always utilize that space for in March. We are gonna work really hard to meet that goal. And it's just a matter of seeing if if we run into any hiccups. But with every possibility, we are going to do our best to make it happen. Dealing with outside groups can kind of struggle a bit, but the fact that the lighting crew is in there this week and next will be helpful in getting us to that end. Also, just share with you that Dr. Stevens, overseeing the instructional resource adoption for the middle school with Pearson for science, social studies, and health. That's been going very well, as the benchmark materials for the elementary. As I had shared with you in the previous end of year, there would be the rollout plan followed, and we would be bringing back a recommendation before the board. So my hope is to bring you that recommendation for February. We've been working very closely with the Teachers Association and gaining their feedback and working through how to best accommodate their needs and capitalize on the ability to have various professional development and see how we can best assist our students with their gains in achievement and the instructional resources our teachers need. Excited to share a few things with North Shore, the partnerships that we have in place. We're relaunching, as I shared with you in your update, the teen clinic, and also remarketing that, as well as telehealth, which is the digital version at Willow Creek Middle School, to get that off the ground. We really want to make that happen. Furthermore, we're going to be doing some immunization clinics. There's been additional changes to the requirements for immunizations, and that will be a great opportunity for us to partner that further with North Shore, as well as physicals for our students that can be done during the day with that teen clinic. So just some additional opportunities to really get some further things in front of our students and families that just help them with the scheduling and appointment management that we all have in our lives. One last item for you. I had the opportunity to meet at the end of last week with Trustee Clancy and Mayor Lynch. I'm excited to share with you that the food pantry is going to be displaying some artwork, probably murals, that Trustee Clancy would like to have on the walls that are completed by our students throughout the district. And then we're also working on a community calendar. Mrs. Devers-Lowy was in that meeting as well, to kind of see how we can coordinate some of our efforts so that our community can go to one place at least once a quarter to see the highlights of where they can receive specific resources or community events that impact all ages throughout the community. The other item I had is the Portage Teacher Education Foundation, as Trustee Vasquez had mentioned. That today I communicated with their secretary regarding the major saver for the following school year. So for your reference, that will be November 18th through December 5th next school year. So it's great because it doesn't conflict with any of our schools and their fundraisers, and students had a great success over the Thanksgiving break to get their families engaged. So we will be doing that again, as it was such a great success. On one other note, I know I said that a couple times now, the Smile Bus is coming to Portage. This has been something that has been a real desire of mine for a while, to bring, again, how do we get services to our students, and so the Smile Bus will be coming, and parents can sign up and they receive their cleaning that day and their fluoride treatment at school. So if families would like to take advantage of that, and again, as we have additional services after going to for instance, the North Shore opening with the various services provided there, how do we expand on bringing these opportunities to our families right within the school day, just to give them more options to have the quality care that they need and deserve.
Thank you.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
Regarding the dental services on site, will insurance requirements, will all of that pre-screening be done before they get there? or will that happen, on the day that they arrive?
So the pre-screening, they will be sending home those forms through the pre-screening. And then if you have insurance, it will go through the insurance. If not, there is a sliding scale opportunity there. Some parents have already said, you know, I'd love for my kid to have this, however, I'd like to be there. Understandable, so we'll make sure that that can happen as well. But yes, you can get the forms completed in advance, and they will do them the day of as well. And then if for some reason, they have a great amount of different services, and we're just starting, they were gonna go down all the way to we'll fill a cavity. We're like, well, we'll wait on that stuff, you know, let's just get the fluoride and the cleaning first, you know, we don't need any drills, so.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions made from that report?
Good job.
Yes, thank you.
Good job.
Sure.
Okay. Any other items that are not on the agenda?
I have a question for our superintendent. The Greater Chamber of Commerce, I have been doing a little research on their website. And I know, we always talk about partnerships and how to get our news, out to different businesses and just out overall in the community. What can we do about membership? Is it possible? Do we have to vote on that, or is that something that the superintendent does?
That's a good question, I'm trying to remember.
Because it came up, I don't think it's something we vote on.
No, I think it's Amanda's, the
That's what I
superintendent's
thought.
decision.
It's her
We had a
prerogative, it's
discussion.
one of those that
That's,
she
yeah,
wants to
that's
join or not.
correct.
There's likely a fee with that.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you know what that is by chance?
I do believe, in times past, there was if I recall, and I could get further insight on this, there was a reduction of fees for any school-based organization, that joined, and it was, I believe, somewhere around about $300 for a year. And I believe that if we were of interest to have someone internally from the schools to serve on that board, I believe it was a non-voting position, which, you know, is understandable. So I can absolutely look into that further and put that in the update for the board. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, a couple of things, Andrew. Good luck to the guys at the OYM. My son was
Thank you.
fortunate to participate in that a few years ago, so I'm pretty sure your kid in.
No. He works too much.
Well,
Was
so
his
good luck
answer.
to you guys this weekend. And I want to say, our ladies, the Lady Indians basketball have done really well, so we're looking forward to them in the sectionals. We won't meet again until after the sectionals are over, so good luck to them, as well as our guys. They have the wrestling sectionals this Saturday, so wish them well. And then we have the Portage Police Department versus the Portage Fire Department basketball game this Thursday at Willow Creek Middle School. Don't quote me on the time.
7 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
Doors open at 6:30 and games at 7. Firefighters will need some oxygen by like 7:05.
I know, right? They will. They will. So they better have it on site. So I just wanted to say that, and so that the community's aware. So thank you.
Great, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
All right, public comment forms, I didn't see any come up.
No, none.
Okay. With that, our next meeting is February 10th at 5 p.m. And then we have our board retreat on February 19th at 5 p.m. and then another regular meeting on the 24th of February at 5 p.m. And then after this meeting, we do have our special meeting for the finance. So if no one has anything else, this meeting's adjourned.